Everyone is finding new ways to adapt to life during COVID-19. For civil and human rights movements, this means getting creative to make their voices heard. Cronkite News reporter Kylie Cochrane shows us how one Arizona organization is mobilizing differently without compromising their demands.
This is Puente.
We want some type of restorative justice in our communities.
An Arizona human rights group.
We're wanting better health care. We're wanting free health care.
Holly Woods is a volunteer for Puente and formerly incarcerated in the Arizona prison system for 5 years.
There was a lot of times when I was on the inside that I felt alone. And the thing about Puente is that they show up.
Because of COVID-19 and for the safety of volunteers, Puente is showing up differently this year, by car.
So our people as Black and Brown and Indigenous people have significantly higher infection rates. And our mortality rate is significantly higher when it comes to COVID as well.
According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Latino, Black, and Indigenous individuals are over 4 times more likely to be hospitalized because of COVID-19. So, Isis Hill, the development director for Puente, organized the United for Freedom Caravan.
We've had, I think at its height, anywhere from 500 cars at any particular caravan.
Since April, they have driven by a variety of corrections facilities and detention centers from Yuma to Tucson, demanding release, safe confinement conditions, and quality health care.
When they incarcerated these individuals, they took upon the responsibility to protect them.
But for Woods, protesting by car isn't easy.
A horn can't express what you're feeling inside like a voice can. And I've got a lot of anger built up in me that the Department of Corrections put inside of me.
However, she doesn't think their caravan goes unnoticed.
The very biggest change that I have seen happen is that there's been a lot of transparency.
All of our people are being tested in the jails, prisons, and detention centers, which is a huge win.
These centers are sharing their case count online. For example, the La Palma Correctional Center in Eloy reports a total of 385 cases in their facility as of September 29th. This location has one of the highest case counts in the country. The transparency, Woods and Hill say, is partly because of their activism.
There has been masks issued inside the Department of Corrections, and all of that, I believe wholeheartedly that that's Puente.
No matter what happens next this year, Puente says they're ready.
Our people stick their fist in the air, they honk their horns as loud as they can, they hold up a poster, and they get out there and they fight, no matter who it is or what they've done. And that's exactly what we're about every single time.
Kylie Cochrane, Cronkite News.
With coronavirus around for the foreseeable future, car protests have emerged across the nation, from Minnesota to Washington, D.C.
The census is coming to its final days, which has Arizona counters focusing on tribal and underserved communities who have seriously been affected by COVID-19. Right now, community leaders are calling for Governor Doug Ducey to extend the state's counting deadline in fear of being undercounted. An accurate count is needed for federal funding and congressional representation. So far, 97% of Arizona households have reportedly been counted in the 2020 census. The deadline to fill it out is October 5th.
A federal judge has temporarily blocked an increase in citizenship fees that was set to take effect Friday. The plan by U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services would have almost doubled fees for some services, which might have put naturalization out of reach for some immigrants. Carolina Hassett has more from our Washington bureau.
The ruling Tuesday by U.S. District Judge Jeffrey White was good news for immigrants seeking to become citizens.
It's a nice, temporary, good thing for applicants that, don't have the funds to pay the fee increase.
But it could spell trouble down the road for USCIS, which relies on fees for almost all of its budget.
The longer that the fee changes are enjoined, the more money USCIS will continue to lose each day. And we're talking millions of dollars.
USCIS unveiled the fees this summer, and they were scheduled to start Friday. Among other increases, a citizenship application would have almost doubled in cost, from $650 now to as much as $1,170. Advocates say that would have been too much for many.
The ability to live and work in the United States should not be a privilege that is limited to the wealthy.
USCIS, which gets 97% of its budget from fees, said the money is needed to offset a drop in business. But critics say the agency is proposing a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
If we look at what the Trump administration was doing to deter people from applying, it kind of makes sense that a lot of people were not applying, and also because of the pandemic. So those things were not taken into consideration.
Judge White didn't get into any of that. He ruled that USCIS failed to follow proper procedures before imposing the increase. He also said the two acting heads of the agency were not authorized to okay an increase. That could change if Chad Wolf and Ken Cuccinelli get Senate confirmation to run Homeland Security and USCIS, respectively.
Then they can start the process of reimposing the fees again,
which has advocates urging people to apply now while fees are low.
Right now is the time. If you're eligible, you meet the requirements, you might as well fill it out, apply, because what's going to happen tomorrow is unknown.
I still encourage people to apply. You never know what can happen. This is definitely a win for our community.
In Washington, Carolina Hassett, Cronkite News.
A USCIS official told Cronkite News this week that the agency is reviewing Judge White's ruling and would not be making any other comments at this time.